Episode by episode, storyline by storyline, character by character, as we break down the making of your favorite zip code. With your hosts, Charles Rosen.
Did I say that?
Harry
This
Mullen.
heinous thing about the real person, and we go, what? We're getting rid of this guy.
Pete Ferrero.
I'm feeling wonderful. Kathleen looks TV crush-worthy.
Like so many special guests. And all your questions. Live on the Beverly Hills 90210 show. Oh, yeah. Everybody dance now.
Okay, we are here. We are talking all about Kelly and Dylan, and how could we not have Kelly with us to have this this conversation? So, Jennie, you're not in LA right now, not in Beverly Hills. Where are you?
I'm in Toronto, Canada, in quarantine.
You have to be in quarantine for 14 days. They're taking this very serious in Canada.
Yeah, I mean, which is a great thing. And especially with productions, just for insurance purposes, they want everybody to be completely clean. So I'm going to be like the Virgin Mary when I leave this place.
Please shipping along, yeah.
I love it. That's amazing. Okay, so why don't we just dive in? Before we dive in, I wanted to say that tomorrow, Jennie, you're going to be doing something really cool. You're doing a live show with Tori, and this is where you can get tickets. I wanted to let everybody know it's onlocationlive.com/90210. Tell me about what's up. You guys are going to do something do something live?
Yeah, you got me. I don't really know what a live podcast is. I didn't know what a podcast was a couple years ago.
Right.
But yeah, so we're going to do a virtual live podcast thing where fans are coming. So it's going to be all the fans, and there's going to be meets and greets. I don't know how do you meet someone through the nice to meet you? I don't know how it works.
Hi, Jennie.
You too. Very nice. That guy.
Really cool. And then you have Debbie Gibson coming to join you guys, right? Is that
we do?
Yeah.
Said, was Debbie Gibson even in the show? And
Yes, she was. She was very kind to do it. We needed a superstar, and she was willing to do it. And I remember just being very kind, and she gave me like an autograph thing, and she was really excited to be doing it for a fan. And then she found out, I said, my daughter's a big fan. She said, how old's your daughter? I went 5, and she knew I wasn't telling the truth. But she was very nice, and she was really good in the episode, too.
Well, yes. So she's going to be joining us tomorrow, and hopefully she'll sing or something. I don't know.
All right. So, and listen, I really want everybody to go out there and get tickets for this thing. If you show me that you got a ticket during this broadcast, I will send you, I'm going to just pick somebody and we'll give you a free t-shirt from our store. Make sure you go sign up for this and join them.
A little cross promotion. I like that.
Why not? Right?
I like it.
All love here.
T-shirts
Hey,
are
I want
great.
to bring on a friend of our show and a super fan of yours, Connie Ziegler.
Hi, Connie.
Hi, Connie.
Nice to meet you.
You too. I met you last during your tour.
Oh, which city?
Fun. Boston.
Boston. We had some fun.
It was a lot.
Very cool. Well, Connie, I know you're a super fan here, and I wanted to give you an opportunity. Is there anything that you want to ask Jennie you're a diehard Kelly and Dylan, right? We know that. So is there anything that you want to know before we dive into all these clips and all that?
I think I just want to know, Jennie, if you remember back then what you thought when they presented this storyline to you, or when you found out about the Kelly and Dylan relationship.
I mean, I don't remember exactly, but I can assure you I was happy about it. Who wouldn't be, right? But I know I was nervous probably because that was like, I didn't want to be seen as like, a home wrecker or whatever, cheating on my best friend with her boy. It was very complicated, and I just wanted to do it the best we could. And I think everybody handled it so well. And it was so, I don't know, I've been watching some of the clips today, and it was just really sensitive. Like the way it all sort of happened. It was very thoughtful and sensitive. And I really appreciated that. So I was just really happy to get to work with Luke. I mean, he was my friend, so
Yeah. Very cool. Okay, Connie, thank you for joining us. This was amazing.
Thank you.
Thank you for everything.
To Jenny?
I've got my Larry shirt on.
Oh, that's a Larry. He's wearing a Larry
that's
Mullen
a Larry
t-shirt.
shirt.
Yes.
Oh.
You know,
It's just
Connie is in the state of Maine. She's almost in Canada. She's not that far.
Ah, it's cold, right?
Yeah, we had an ice storm today, so
nice. That's always good.
like everywhere.
Real nice here.
All right.
LA.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Good to see you.
Yeah,
Thank
good to
you.
see you. All right, Charles. Now, you've talked about this before on the show, putting Kelly and Dylan together. Why don't you talk about where that started with you?
Well, it didn't start with me. It started with Luke. It started when, Jenny, it started when we merged in with Melrose. And as you remember, we had, you did some episodes there and
Right.
Grant Show, we established him and he did that. And everybody was pretty good with that. It was good spelling synergy and the network was happy and spelling was happy. I was happy. Luke wasn't happy. He felt we was really subordinating ourselves. And I guess in the line that I've shared before, and what he said to me is he said, I want to work with the blonde.
Oh my God.
That was it. You were Blondie in his description to me at the time. And it was really clear we needed to change things up. We had and it was always that. And I actually, Karen and some of our closest lifelong friends, my lifelong friends from high school, my oldest friend, person I've known longer than anyone but my living sister, was basically you in a triangle. If you would put it, the second girlfriend, the person she's with, who she married, was that guy in between. So, it was a romantic story to me. It was sensitive. So we presented it to the network. Jessica particularly was always our pitcher because nobody could talk as fast as Jessica.
Well. I remember very few things, but I remember that. It was
just kept talking. And as Jessica will tell you, they didn't like it. They didn't like it at all, right, Jess?
What
they
happened?
Thought we were going to destroy both the characters of Brenda and Kelly. And how could we make this happen? And how could we paint one of them as a bad guy? And then when we said Brenda was going to fool around in France, it was like, you're just destroying our heroine. We reassured them that we weren't, and that the audience would lap it up, and that we would do everything we needed to do to protect, particularly the Kelly character.
Yeah.
And in rewatching all these scenes and episodes, I was struck by how hard we worked to protect you. And we did. You kept saying, no, I can't hurt Brenda. I can't hurt Brenda. We have to tell Brenda. We can't do this unless we.
And then once you were a unit, your default was go back to Brenda.
And Dylan kept saying, oh, come on. And it was like, So I blame Dylan for everything. I love Luke, but I blame Dylan.
I do remember him giving me a little heads up that it was coming. And I thought, how do you know? And now I know.
Well, it was, it was just really under the summer episodes were summer fun. So we could get a letter, that old song like, see you in September, don't fool around. It was almost kind of given, and sometimes things like that would be in summer. You had a girlfriend in LA, you went to a summer school back east, you had a girlfriend back, it just was the way world, was in my growing up when I was a teenager. So I think that was always an underpinning here too, that it was not, serious relationships are at Thanksgiving. This is something.
Hey, before we move on, somebody wanted to drop in and say hi. This just happened very unexpectedly, but here he is. Our friend Matthew Lawrence, Mr. Mel Silver.
Matthew.
Oh my God.
Jenny.
Hi. Oh, I might cry. I'm so happy to see you.
Aww.
I'm telling you, guys, I'm having deja vu. I feel like I just talked to all of you.
And I remember he was worried about crying, so don't give him any incentive to cry now.
I cried a couple of times last time. I was watching. I knew you were going to be on, Jenny, and I haven't seen you in so long. And I just really wanted to see say hello while my dog
Sweet.
is barking here, and we're in the middle of a 4-day ice storm here.
Oh my God.
And it's bad, but it's so great to see you, Jenny.
It's so great to see you too. Oh my God.
Matthew, before we let you go, I want to ask you what was it like working with Jenny all those years ago?
She was a real diva. Out of all the people on the show that were so young, of course, I was one of the old ones. They were all so nice and down to earth. Jenny was really almost impossible to work with. It's really funny. Oh boy, look at this.
Hi.
On my lap. I have so many great memories. She was the greatest. But I don't know why, but we were shooting a scene, I want to say either at the beach house or I don't know where it was, but we were sitting in between takes, and it was you and me and Tori and Anne, I think, just sitting around on a couch talking for a long time because we were changing sets. And that I keep going back to that because you were, as all of you were at that time, to be as popular and known by everybody and so young, really. And I couldn't get over how grounded you were even then. And so it's no surprise that you've turned into the incredible woman that you are also.
Oh, thanks, Matthew.
And
That's so sweet. All right, Matthew, we got to talk about Kelly and Dylan, or we're going to get thrown off here.
No.
I have no idea.
Nice to see you, Matthew.
All of you.
Stay warm.
Stay warm and dry.
Stay warm.
All right,
Oh
that
my gosh, that was fun.
Yeah.
He's a sweet guy. All right, hey, let's talk about this. You guys get this storyline moving, and it kicks up. Some fans wanted me to immediately ask you about the Kelly and Dylan watching Casablanca together, and some of the fans think that this is the Kelly and Dylan movie. Jessica, Charles, do you know how Casablanca got into the mix of this storyline?
Do I remember?
Casablanca
No, I don't.
is arguably my favorite movie of all time. So
There's the reason.
I think them getting in I have no idea how it got in this storyline, but it could have gotten in any storyline that we could have done because it's Casablanca, for God's sakes. But is there anything more romantic than Casablanca? More self-sacrifice, all that stuff, right?
Plus, he got to then say to her, of all the beaches and all the towns in all the world, you walk into mine,
Right.
Summer Storm. And because you'd seen Casablanca, you understood what he was talking about and got the joke.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
That's
well,
from season 2, right? That's from that part.
No, that's I think that's
season 3. It's season 3 in Summer Storm. It's
right.
I think it's Summer. No, Shooting Star. Karen
that's why I brought that up. Yeah, I brought that up because of Shooting Star.
Jenny, I don't remember the titles either. I got to tell you, I don't know. They refer to them. They think the fans know the titles. None of the
these fans do. There's 25,000 that do.
I have the cheat sheet here. It was season 3, episode 5.
Season 3, episode.
Larry was done by Chelsea, a friend of Chuck's from Vancouver. She did an 8-page breakdown, so I use it as a cheat sheet. It's kind of like Kelly and Dylan for dummies.
That's right. That's right.
Can you send me that?
I will
Yes, Kelly needs it.
I wanted to. I was talked out of it. They thought it would be too confusing, and they were probably right. But it's a wonderful.
Chuck speaks the truth.
Chelsea Elliott, Vancouver. I just outed you. We love you. Thank you for sending that.
Jessica and I said, please don't send that to Jenny. She's not going to know what to start.
It seemed like work. I mean,
it was a lot.
It's too much homework. But I didn't know at the time. I said that you were in quarantine and probably have a lot of time on your hands. We could have given you something to do.
All right, but that does set up this stuff. And I sent you the clip. I'm not going to show the clip for this scene because it's got that Sophie B. Hawkins song in it, a Damn I Wish I Was Your Lover. And so YouTube flags us on all of that stuff. But do you remember, or do you have a feeling when I sent you this about looking back on those scenes under the stars with Luke in that moment?
I remember we spent a lot of time shooting at the beach, by the beach, in the beach, on the beach, in the water. And I don't know if it was all around the same time, like the same episode, probably right around episode 3, end of 2, 3, right?
That's right. Or that's 5 or 6 or something like that. Yeah. Right.
Yeah. I mean, just watching it.
There was so much beach club stuff. And then you and Dylan went off. You found him at Paradise Cove alone and brought pizza, and not
brought pizza after you said you weren't coming. No, but it's just seeing those 3 stills. Forgetting Sophie B. Hawkins. Yes, I'm rooted to the music. I remember Jessica and I, when that song came across, we knew it was the one. There was no doubt about it. But just seeing those 3 stills, it just it's very romantic. You guys because in real life you meant something to each other, it projected out, and there was that closeness, and you could and boy, shot beautifully. I mean, really, really looked like the Malibu beach in summer there.
Yeah,
because it really was.
It was beautiful. I loved watching the clip. Yeah, and it was really there's watching it, not even, you're just completely taking myself out of it. Like, there's such a sweetness to their relationship, and like, I don't know, it pulls me in even watching it. And I don't say that very often about much, but any of the work that I did with Luke, I'm kind of captivated by just the energy of the moment, and that's how it was working with him. Always just, so meaningful in some way.
And you weren't 2 people who ran lines together before you got to the set, did you? Or was there a lot of that? Luke didn't strike me as someone that would stick on that.
No, I think that's, I mean, I kind of still have that habit now. I like to be spontaneous and kind of off the cuff a little bit, even with the dialogue. So we never really rehearsed. We would just do it on the day, and the first take was always our first time doing it.
That's great. I'm curious, that song that plays in there, the Damn I Wish I Was Your Lover, somebody asked me to ask you, does that song at all resonate to you if you heard that? Does that or are there songs from 90210 that you hear and you're like, oh, that is a 90210 thing?
No, because I didn't watch the show back. So when we were filming it, we didn't have the music. It was just maybe sometimes it was written in the script, sometimes it was added in later, but yeah, no, there's no recall for me with songs, except, the theme song. That'll get me every time. I know what that is.
No doubt. Yeah, I figured as much. All right, here is a little scene study. This is one we were just kind of talking about. This is, I believe, after, Brenda comes back, and here's you guys on the beach.
Look, you don't have to keep checking up on me.
That's not what I'm doing. I just want to thank you again for yesterday.
That was yesterday?
Kelly, you're a smart lady.
Dylan, I'm happy for you. And for Brenda. You guys belong together. So let's just leave it alone, okay?
Well, where does that leave you, Kelly?
Can't have it both ways.
So you're telling me just go back to Brenda and forget everything that happened?
We'll always have Paris.
It is not funny anymore.
I guess nothing lasts forever.
Oof, beautiful stuff.
I have to praise you, Jenny, because one of the gifts that you have given to my life is it can be the corniest line in the world, and when you deliver it, it lands. It doesn't feel corny, and you give life to this part, and your honesty comes through, and I appreciate it.
Thanks, Jess.
Looking back on that, do you get all the feels again in that moment?
Yeah.
Yeah. How close are you to Kelly Taylor? Do you develop her? You developed her for a few seasons. I know that first season you're finding her. Are you pretty locked in here as the character at this point?
I think so. Yeah. I mean, you mean in that clip?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. I think that she's like an onion. Like there's so many layers and so much to her, so many complexities that I was always learning more about her as the storylines went on. And especially though in the scenes with Luke, with Dylan, there you learned a lot about the true like inner Kelly and their childhoods being so similar and you know, kind of parallel in certain ways. So I learned a lot about my character just through those scenes with him.
I'm curious for Chuck and Jessica, you talked about the network not loving it at first, but then it's starting to develop and they're starting to see it. What is the reaction as it's sort of playing out?
Fans watch. Fans
watch. Everybody ate it. It was a very good summer. Both summers
they
were
forgot
good.
all about the fact they hadn't liked it. I'm sure
exactly. In fact, they own it.
Yeah, they made it
because they own it. Literally, they do own it.
Can I say something? I want to say something about Jennie, because when Peter was asking if you had locked in on the character, that's third season. By then, it's developed. And I've said before that, you know, when you first you write the character, but then when you are in a continuing series, the actor becomes so important because if you can write to your actor's strength, then the character becomes so much richer. And you know, Kelly Taylor was not designed to be the most sensitive, originally conceived. You know, was not designed to be the most sensitive, caring person. She was supposed to be one of those girls that you want. She was in a clique, like she was going to be popular and a little bitchy and this and that. And that's how she was going to be. And then comes Jennie Garth, who's this really nice person and not like that type of character. And the character of Kelly got nicer and nicer like Jennie was. It just happened that way. And that I think was a great meld. And that's a credit to Jennie because of her sweetness.
Well, not necessarily. Thank you, but that's a credit to all of you because we always say that. Tori and I always talk about that, how you started to write our characters more to who we were as people, and that really made a difference.
Once you know something stood out, something was there, and so the one person I got to give credit to who first gave you the time, or gave Kelly Taylor the moments to become more complex, more nuanced, more understood, was Darren in Perfect Mom, because before Perfect Mom it was going to be Brandon and Brenda and Brandon and Brenda and Brandon. Well, what about Kelly? And then all through that. So every time, you know, from our perspective, every time an actor was given something and succeeded, it was like, well, we've got to change this. And I, you know, and all of us really, it would have been too easy to write, okay, we're doing a show called Beverly Hills 90210, and one of the stars is an out and out rich bitch. You know, so good. We're showing that, the love of, now, you know, Mean Girls comes along so many years later and does that really great. But that wasn't something what was really as much in the culture in the 90s, pre-digital as we're talking. And also, it's just not something we wanted to, we were looking for a more complex rich girl because I'm from Beverly Hills and a lot of them were very complex.
And also because, you know, she was not just that. She was,
right.
She was more. She was more. They were all more than a stereotype. Mm-hmm. That's the point. More than a stereotype. So filling them out, we were lucky enough to have Jennie do that character because it made her really, really layered. You're right. Lots of layers. Lots of onions. Aw.
Well, Chuck and I got to talk to Chip Johannessen this week, who, you know, absolutely loved writing for the character. And here's a clip of one of the clips of what Chip had to say regarding this whole Kelly Dillon thing?
Actually, at the end of third season, but like, you know, we went away at the end. We went to Ibiza, my wife and I did, and we watched
to be young and single, huh?
Yeah, we watched on satellite TV. We saw an episode of 90210, and I don't even remember which one it was, but it was dubbed in Spanish. And Kelly Taylor was still the blonde bitch, and Brenda Walsh was this very nice person from Minnesota. And it was like, you were very aware that it had all flipped somehow in 3 years, you know, that it was like, especially on the Kelly side, that she become this soulful person. I mean, it's at some point the actresses happen, right? And they bring a certain energy to things.
You have to write. You know this as best that you have to write for the talent, what the talent can do.
Yeah, and by third season, you see like Shannon. I don't think she's into her like heavy, high behavior phase quite yet, but she kind of seems to dress herself in half the episode. She shows up at high school wearing like weird strapless bustiers and stuff, and Kelly Taylor's sitting there in a white t-shirt, and just a lot of dynamics there have kind of changed. And it was like, I'm just saying, it wasn't just about moving pieces around. It was also the people that these actors had, had brought, what they brought to the characters and what those characters had become.
Right, exactly.
And the way Dylan and Kelly were these soulful counterparts that over the course of that whole season, right? The serialization of that was so slow, of them really coming together. It was like the whole thing was 30 episodes, and it took almost 30 episodes to really put them together in a deep way. It starts as kind of like making out in a cabana, right? And then it becomes this thing where they bring all this life weight with them, with, Jack McKay dying, and on her side, her issues with the divorce of her mother's second or third or fifth or whatever it was divorce, and all the problems there, her situation with an eating disorder. And I even remember going to UCLA like hospital and meeting the hospitalized anorexic people to kind of research that. I mean, this was all like, as a writer, was stuff you're interested in, right? You start to like bring it, and then by the time it gets to something like Senior Pole, there, even though it's kind of a high school conceit in a way, they bring this depth of habitation to it that's kind of
something that's so frivolous and so unimportant in the long run.
Well, there's that. That's what Chip had to say about it. And this conversation keeps coming up about soulmates. We get to Senior Pole, and Dylan does say that Kelly is his soulmate, and Chip credited that to you, Charles, that you were the one that came up with the phrase soulmates. Let's talk about Kelly and Dylan and if they were soulmates, and how did that come to your mind?
The notion of having a soulmate?
Well, or that Kelly and Dylan were.
Oh, well, because, it would be the idea of the depth. I mean, that all I think at that moment that you're saying is it's soul to soul. We're so close. The notion of having it be we were close in past lives, no, that wasn't on anybody's mind as we were writing it at that moment. It was a term of art. And by the way, it wasn't. Soulmates hadn't become a hallmark a term of art yet. It was relatively new, relatively constant. It hadn't been in a Valentine's Day card. You're my soulmate. It meant something a little more, and you played it as such.
It also helped to bring her out of this hussy, role, to have it really be sort of, we say in Yiddish, beschert, meant to be kind of thing that there were clues all along. It does kind of prevents Kelly from having to be the bad woman who stole the girlfriend's boyfriend, and all of that too. It helps. They were really meant to be, if they really had so much depth to their relationship.
Jenny, you did the entire series, and obviously these guys all left at certain places, but you were there for the ending where Kelly and Dylan were starting to form that again. Do you think that Kelly and Dylan, I was going to say were soulmates, but do you think that they wound up together again?
Yeah. I think that they had a really unique and special connection, and I like to think that they ended up together.
Cool. All right, let me show you this. The fans will love us to talk about this, and I know that it's very beautiful. I know that this stuff is iconic.
Don't do that if you don't mean it.
I mean it.
You're in trouble now.
I'm not going to show the whole thing so we don't get lost here. But go ahead, Jenny.
I'm already lost.
That was a good kiss.
That was good.
Yeah, I remember.
How cold was it?
We were freezing.
Yeah.
You can tell in a few of the lines. My teeth are chattering. His teeth are chattering. and we were just gripping onto one another under the water just to get through it. But it turned out to be a great scene.
Yeah.
Great scene.
Everybody talks about that. Do you know who wrote that, guys? Chuck, do you know who? That's Jessica, right?
Justin Steele. Oh yeah, back in the highlights.
Steve and I wrote that, and we rarely went to the set, but we were there that night. I know I was there. I'm assuming
Steve was
there, and that's when I learned from somebody. It might have been the director, that when Hitchcock was confronted with an actor who complained that it was cold, he told them to act warm. So. We really felt bad for you, but whoever was directing that night didn't feel quite as bad.
Dalia,
we had to act warm. Yeah, we tried.
You did a good job. You looked like you were enjoying yourself. That's all that mattered.
Poor Luke, he had like zero body fat on him. So I think he was a lot colder than I was.
You don't know this about our show, but Larry is our expert kissing department, and you usually always ask kissing questions. So, do you have a kissing?
Well, I have one secondhand because one of the fans asked me to ask this. It was a TV Guide interview you did in, I guess, 1993 or something, and I got to exactly get it right here. But it was like you talked about. I think I do remember it. You said you were quoted as saying, "When you're kissing Luke, you can't think about anything else," which I thought was really wonderful. And so that sense of abandon is in this kiss. And so, yes, I would rate this kiss very, very high. This is one of the top 10 kisses of the show. Really, I mean, it's
top five.
I mean, we haven't really looked at that for the special kissing show we're going to do. And believe me, not every kiss is good. We have kissing problems. We see it. And our heart goes out to them. I think about the actresses then, how difficult it was, because you had to kiss whoever we told you to kiss. It was like
you had me kiss a lot of guys.
I know,
a lot of frogs, Jenny.
After season 5, Jenny, not season 5. I had a different plan for you.
Yeah, there was don't confuse me. But you know what? If the kissing didn't work out, we changed it. You have to give us that. We did change it. We changed it out until we found the right kissing. And that was, so this was a great one. Just and it was a privilege to be able to write your character. I have to tell you right now, since I have a moment. It was just
I think so. And we were talking about that with Chip yesterday. I don't know if it's in part of what he's going to show or whatever, but that it allowed us to be really just dig a little deeper, because any line that was there and the depth of as we peel back the onion on this, you realize and the idea that here's a beautiful young woman who doesn't see herself that way. Here's a beautiful young woman who worries about drug dependency because it's in her genes with her mother. Here's a beautiful woman that has depression issues. My gosh, I mean, and still, and what's so beautiful about Senior Paul is and really encourage you to see it if you hadn't, everybody in this, because the last scene when you take the picture is that you're just in your natural self. Everybody else was in costumes trying to make things work, and you guys were just yourselves. And it was quite moving.
Well, I don't know. Jenny doesn't
Matthew
remember
Lawrence would be crying his eyes out right now.
Yes, he would. If she doesn't remember that episode, we should tell her that what happened, because that was when, they did the Senior Paul, who's going to be most beautiful. You were most beautiful. Dylan was most handsome. But you were going through that, having to go to that group and do the eating disorder group, and you were very moody because you had been on diet pills, and it goofed you up. You'd fainted the episode before, and now your mom was feeling really bad that she kind of goofed you up, and now you're talking about how you're going to work through stuff. And we see it illustrated so well. That was Chip's script. She's all pretty. She's going to go dress up in her formal dress to go take the picture. And her mother says, oh, but your eyes could be this, or your hair could be different. And it plunges her into self-doubt again. And you were moody and nothing was working. And you just played that so good. You were so, you were pissed off, and everybody could see that there was something really going on, and just it was so naturally played by you that's what I loved about it so much. That episode also is the one where Steve goes and shoots the basket at the at the Laker game. He goes and wins the $10,000 that he then donates to the school, so that's why he gets to graduate. That was the side story on that one. You can see us in the background in the Laker game.
Yeah, we're part of the 1707.
It was a highlight for myself.
I gotta watch that one.
You gotta watch it. I did not remember it. I have to be honest. And I watched it, and you were so good. You should just watch it to enjoy it, honestly. And it will bring back so much.
Since we're talking about it, do you have that playground scene?
I do.
Because there's one scene that just stands out.
I want to
almost the whole third season, quite frankly. But
I broke it into parts because of the YouTube thing. You know what I mean? But here's the first part. Here's the first part of it.
It's fine, just do me. Everybody else a big favor. Go back to Brenda.
Is that really what you want?
Doesn't matter what I really want. I'm just a stupid blonde bitch who's not really worth it.
I disagree.
I didn't talk to my father. Never bothers to call me anymore. Or my mom. Probably hates me right now. Or all the guys I put out for in the 10th grade and never heard from again. Or why don't you talk to Brenda and find out how it really feels to have somebody you trust go behind your back and steal your boyfriend from you?
That's not how it happened. It's not even close, Kel. That's part of what I've been writing about.
Part one. That one.
Do you have any idea how difficult it is for me to share that with anybody? You're not the only one who wants to end up as more than just best looking in a stupid poem.
You are already so much more than that, and you know it.
How do I know it? Whoever tells me that I'm smart or even worth knowing. We are two little kids who had to walk home from school by ourselves because our parents forgot to pick us up.
I guess we're both basket cases.
No. We're soulmates.
I love it.
Beautiful.
Yeah. It gets better even.
Well, he doesn't even just say the line. He does the hands like you're in me and I'm in you. You know, the motion there to solidify it a little bit.
Can you see how good you were doing there, Jen? It's very moving.
It's very moving. Yeah. It is. It's nice to watch it back. It's so weird for me to watch things because I don't remember. I have like some serious traumatic memory loss, and I don't remember doing it, and I want to remember so badly because that looked like it was a great time with him, and I wish I could remember it, but watching it's nice.
It is beautiful. You should watch. And I could just on a lighter note, I just want to say, I bet you don't have the clip, Pete, do you? That Jennie and I actually did a scene together. Do you recall?
We're not there yet. No, it didn't make.
I didn't know.
It didn't make the top 100.
I know.
One. I'm sorry.
So good.
Let me show you this. We're going to go here later, but just to change this a little bit, we know that eventually we're going to talk about this whole "I Choose Me" stuff.
Yes. I want one of your "I Choose Me" shirts. I wrote that. I wrote that shirt.
Yeah. I gotta send you one.
You gotta know that there is a person on Instagram. Her name is Beverly Thrills 90210, and she's been doing impersonations of scenes. And she did the "I Choose Me" scene, which we will eventually get to. Here is Caitlin doing this scene.
Can I talk to you guys? You guys have made my life very difficult the past few days, and it hasn't been easy. Because I love you both. You might not believe that, but it's true.
Ugh.
Brandon, I can't accept this. Dylan, have a nice trip. I can't go with you. Not this time. I've made my choice, and I choose me. I hope you understand. I'll love you both to the day I die.
That's some powerful stuff.
Right. I particularly love when she if you had done that take when she's thrown it, I don't know if that would have went over well with the director that day.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, she's just our favorite. She just has done all that cool stuff. All right, listen, Senior Pole is one of those episodes where the two of you really bonded, and it's some really, really nice stuff that's happening. We move these characters along, and for Chuck and Karen and Jessica, I mean, what are you thinking next about for these characters, I guess is where I'm going.
From which point?
From Senior Pole.
Oh.
Well, we know that they're gonna, they find their way together. I mean, they're going to Europe together. They are there. They have bonded, and that's when, also that and it should be great. And these young people, they're in love in this, and then they come back in season 4, and they had a miserable time, and they're barely talking to each other, and
right,
and then I think that happens again. So. We knew that it's the spelling model. You bring them together, you break them apart. You bring them together, you break them apart. It's like making a pizza.
I wanted to pull this clip too, just to talk about how powerful of a performance it was. We had a fan send us this video just talking about what that scene at Senior Pole did for their own life, just so that you can get an idea.
Senior Pole episode was very emotional for me because it helped me to uncover some deep feelings that I had that I never expressed before, that the person that I was in a relationship with wasn't my soulmate. And so I had to make a very emotional and gut-wrenching decision to end that relationship. And I wouldn't have the life that I have today had I not made that decision based on the storyline with Dylan and Kelly to give me that inner strength and the courage to do that. And I really want to thank Chip and Luke and Jennie and the producers of 90210 to really being that catalyst for helping me to change my life. Thank you.
Wow.
Oh, that's so nice. I'm so glad that it helped you. Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
I just got all the goosebumps.
Very
Yeah.
Good find, Pete.
Yeah. Here's some more of Chip, I think. Yes. No. Let's see. That is the wrong one. Hang on. Sorry. Chip.
In many ways, he was the Kelly whisperer. He was the one that had you down.
Do you recall writing this?
I do, and I have to say right off the top that word soulmate came from Chuck. This is the playground scene, I guess, that we're talking about. Yeah. I've mentioned before that my wife was the person I would talk to a lot of times. This is my first year ever on a staff show. And I think she came up with the idea of returning to the playground to have this scene, that it would be a good kind of place for that.
You're writing for Kelly, but at some point you realize the actress is going to bring something really beautiful to it. So what was it like sort of writing these scenes, or scenes just generally for Kelly, for Jennie Garth?
Well, this is now 3rd season, and a character that started as a kind of like shallowish, not in terms of the writing, but in terms of the way the character is conceived, blonde, bitchy, mean girl type, really isn't like that at all. And I think that's got to be something that Jennie brought to this. She was very soulful, had a woundedness that came out of her character history, but you could kind of see, and was kind of looking for somebody to love her, which she had not had in her life up to that point. So that person became Dylan McKay. Well, I mean, take a look at this one. I think she's just absolutely lovely. And she brought a kind of, reality to the thing that not every actor managed to do.
Nice stuff.
We all know that Chip is very impressive now, but just for the audience, he went on to have a very, very distinguished writing and producing career on many, many incredible shows. So just so you know, he's quite he knows what he's talking about.
I was watching, this is going to sound off, but then you're going to get it. I was watching an episode of The Office a couple of nights ago, and when I had never watched it before, and I was totally, I was watching Jim and Pam, and I got so connected to the characters that I was like, I really hope Jim and Pam are in a relationship, you know, like the real people. And then I was like, what's wrong with me? Like, that's so crazy. I don't understand why I'm saying that. But there's a large group of people that wish, you know, Kelly and Dylan were an item or a thing. You know what I mean? The real people. Is that difficult to deal with? And also, what was that relationship like when you were doing this? Sorry for the Jim and Pam reference. I just had a.
Yeah, I mean, it was oftentimes very confusing to even me. So,
Oh yeah.
and even my own children, even my people that are very close to me, my inner circle, know how much Luke means to me and meant to me, and often wonder like what really was it. And I don't ever like to really talk about it. I don't like to, I just, it's a very special place inside of me, and I don't like to share it with people. So I get that question a lot, and I try to skirt around it as much as possible because he's just a very important person in my life.
Yeah, I understand that. Well, in season 4, there's some cute stuff that you guys do together. And here's a couple of those things. Let's see. I'm really having a problem with these clips today. Okay.
There's John Sears. That guy just does not get the picture, does he?
I had no idea you were such a powerful public speaker.
Well, why don't you add it to the long list of things that you don't know?
Hey, Kelly, give peace a chance.
Maybe in another lifetime, huh? Dylan, do you want a piece of pie?
I'm reaching out to you here, Kelly. Come on. Want some? You're a dead man. Wait, yeah, you want some? Come on, I'm gonna hunt you down right here.
There's some John Sears.
I'd forgotten this too. Like, why did Kelly hate John Sears so much?
He's a bad guy. He a bad guy.
And Tor and I were talking about it.
That was a very good
Me
reason.
that
I
hated
can't
him, or was
remember.
it Kelly that hated him?
Wasn't there a date rape story? Wasn't he?
I think
Take
she hears
back
the
the night.
No.
Well, yeah,
Not bad, yeah.
I think it's a Laura Kingman thing related to it. I think he tried to do with
AJ Langer. AJ Langer.
AJ Langer, yeah.
That was the one. He tried to take advantage of a girl who was
Underage girl.
underage and had problems, and that's who he was. And he would have been that way. And here he is in college. He was that way when he was in high school, and he probably John Sears would be like that as an adult. It doesn't change that much.
I remember it crossing over and me not liking him.
He was a good friend of Jason.
He was really good friends with a lot of people on the set,
Yeah.
and I just had a thing. Like, I just didn't like him. I guess I'm just a little too method in that respect.
No, it sure really
Really
helped.
get into my character.
Evidently.
He was good at playing someone unlikable, actually.
Jennifer Grant felt the same way, I think. I mean, because I think you need that, to do those scenes. I mean, it's understandable.
Somebody says, did she know, meaning you, she was the most gorgeous girl to walk this earth? Ha, ha, ha. I love Jenny. Did you know that?
Thank you for bringing that to my awareness. Yeah.
Oh,
Nice of you.
That's cool. Yeah, I just want to remind everybody too, again, tomorrow you're going to be doing a lot more of this and other things, and maybe more lighthearted on locationlive.com/90210. You can grab tickets for that event now. I think someone told me that they just ordered one, so now I am on the hook for a t-shirt. Which
Thank you.
That's what
You got
happens.
no
You open your mouth, you open your trap.
I don't mind. I want everybody to go out and take a look at this. It's going to be a lot of fun. Okay, there's this other one here. This leads to something really nice. That whole incident with John Sears leads to something really nice. A very nice conversation that you and that Kelly and Dylan have. About taking her seriously.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
That's what I came here to tell you. You know, if this had happened 3 years ago, I probably would have stayed with him even after what he said.
I'm glad it's not 3 years ago. I'm getting them together.
I hope so. And if I am starting to get more inner strength or whatever, I think maybe it's because you're the first guy who ever took me seriously.
Cal.
No, you were. I just can't believe I got so caught up with him. What happened to us, Dylan?
I don't know. Must have got lost somewhere. You sure you don't want me to whack him? Because I will.
No.
More beautiful
You look
stuff.
beautiful,
That's so,
Maxine.
yeah, that's really a big line. That taking you seriously. That's really good.
Mm-hmm.
Who gets now? Where is that? Is that Jessica?
That's the Chip. I think that's Chip. It's from
No.
Take Back the Night, I think, isn't it?
Yeah.
Let's take back the night. Yeah.
I have my cheat sheet right here. Chelsea, thank you.
Larry, I want to ask you, what did you like writing what did you like writing for the Kelly and Dylan character? We haven't really heard from you here.
Oh, well, I came in season 4, so I got to, build up some of that relationship. But, I also got to break them up in Vital Signs. And when you look at that now, yeah, they broke up. But she was right. She was on to Suzanne and Erica. I don't know if you remember that plot, where Dylan's getting scammed and he's got family and they kind of come between you and Dylan. And in the end, I mean, Jennie wanted the best for him and Dylan couldn't see it. He wanted so desperately to have a family. So I did get to write that. And, but I had some other things. I wanted to ask Jennie about the Bewitched thing. Because I'm trying to remember where that came from. Was it something that you did with the nose? You had that skill to do the nose thing?
What are you talking about?
They said that you do like this bewitched the nose twitch that she used to do in.
Now, I happen to one of my early mentors was Harry Ackerman.
I can't do it.
That was his show, and Elizabeth Montgomery would be around, and Bill Asher, her husband, who was another great surfer. Chuck would probably know. But I realized we had this Bewitched thing, which we play off a bit, and it's great. It's adorable. And we also had I also did get to write the strawberries and cream scene where you kind of put stuff on each other. So I felt good about that, even though I did break you up. But then we come back again, and I get to write some soulmate stuff with Chuck and everybody on the Real McCoy stuff. Because then we kind of, after you break up, in the season 4, Dylan realizes, albeit too late, that you are his soulmate, and it takes us all the way down to I Choose Me, where you shut the door on both of them.
And that's a good place to go to for Jessica. But Chuck, first on the dream, the stuff
Real
that
McCoy.
the Real McCoy that Dylan's doing, where he's talk to me about that and writing that concept, because that's out there, for that time period.
Right. Well, we knew that we were using this notion of self-exploration and using regression therapy as a means to try to understand yourself a little better. Takes you into past lives, and all we had seen prior to this was fragments. And we building to this episode, and look, and I've said this, many times with me, the tail wags the dog. I wanted to have a Western for Jason and Luke. These guys love their horses, they love being in the West, so let's do it to the Old West, and using all the archetypes, the stereotypes. He's the Billy the bad kid, and she's the frightened ingenue in the stagecoach, and by the end, they're a married couple. and in the Old West, and he's become a preacher, and she's become mother to two gorgeous children, one of named Jackson Mullen, the other named Avery Rosen, and it's a really coming out of the church, and then what gets you, of course, is that there's Luke, there's Dylan, who gets killed as Billy the Kid. It's like a trophy murder, not even because he did something wrong many years ago, and 10 years later it's retribution. But this notion that what I remember most about that scene is not necessarily Kelly and Dylan, but him being in the grave and all the other people there in the dirt coming over and wondering why all his friends are there, and the kind of dreamlike quality. And that's all it was. All it was a regression. All it was a scope. And whether it really happened, didn't happen, I'm not a wiser person knows that. But it certainly was a way to really show that it's not just now, you've been my love forever. Because he kept asking his therapist, why her? Why am I seeing her? And so
I think his therapist's name is Molly Campbell, by the way. You named her after the costume.
Well, Molly kept bugging me. Name me a character after me. Come on. No, she never did. I'm just teasing. But no, we did. We always did stuff like Emily Valentine was Diana Valentine, our script supervisor. So
Christine Pettit.
We had the FBI, so we did that all over the map.
I want to show you this too. This is not. This is a season 4 scene. Fans asked me to show you this. Do you remember doing this?
Looking real good, Cal.
Look, I know that you are probably still mad at me, and I am definitely still mad at you. But I have to kiss you right now in front of all of these people. And I would really appreciate it if you would please just go along with it.
Did you say please?
Yes, I said please.
Well, in that case, I never could resist a sorority girl in a shower cap.
I love it.
I love that scene.
Me too.
Yeah, the smushiness is so great.
Smushiness,
so
the cold cream.
Is so great. Everything about it is so natural and sexy and wonderful and warm. It's just terrific.
All right.
By the way, I don't remember having ever seen that before or ever. I don't remember it at all. So it was all
either. Was I there?
Some girl with cold cream on her face.
To the super fan, this is our life. This is you know what I mean? We have been there so many times. This does lead to obviously the Jessica Klein thing, and you guys talked about I Choose Me. I'm going to play that real quick, and I want to get everybody's take on that now, and I'm curious of yours on this, Jenny.
Can I talk to you guys? You guys have made my life very difficult the past few days. And it hasn't been easy, because I love you both. You may not believe that, but it's true. Brandon, I can't accept this. Wait. Please. Dylan, have a nice trip. I can't go with you. Not this time. I've made my choice, and I choose me. I hope you understand. I love you both till the day I die.
All right. A lot of people to talk to here. Jessica Klein.
Yeah.
I Choose Me.
I Choose Me. It became bigger in the history of show business and the history of the show than it was at the time.
Yes.
It felt very much in character for her to say that. And it was a very big feminist moment for us. And in rewatching the show, the whole thing, I found both Dylan and Brandon so overbearing in their approach to her that it was, and I'm sure that Steve and I wrote it that way so that the I Choose Me would land properly, that everyone would root for Kelly in saying that, because it's like, this one wants to go around the world. Really? Right now? You're going to make those choices? And the other one when he hears that, buys a ring. This is not a time for a ring. And they sell it with such, neither one of them sells it with great romance or flourish. And they are both taking her for granted in some way, is how I see it now, because I just not gonna remember all this either. But the I Choose Me was so appropriate and so right for the age of the character. It was right for the time, and it was right for the story of the growth of Kelly Taylor, who had come into her own and was no longer seeing herself as a reflection of the man she was with, the boy she was with. It turned into a person.
Well, and who knew it would become so? I mean, it's just such a strong statement, and it's still so powerful now, even more than then somehow.
When they stole it on Scandal, it was like, whoa! I Choose Me. She's quoting Kelly Taylor. No, wait, she's quoting Jessica Klein and Steve Wasserman.
But the difference is that they did it with the punctuation. They did it with the self-conscious. I love just seeing this. I was just and I choose me and da, da, da. It was just. Yes,
you're so right.
It was matter of fact. It was the condition that you were in, and it was that. And again, it's what I have really enjoyed working with you all those years, Jenny, is because the interpretations that you come out with always worked and were always unique to you. Well, and I can say that I saw a lot of stuff.
Thank you. I'm glad.
You just make it look very easy. You just do. You make it look natural. Exactly. Like no effort on your part.
Kelly and I had a lot in common. So.
Listen, guys, I think we nailed this. Larry, did I miss anything here on the cheat sheet?
Well, it only goes up to the end of season 4, but obviously, look, we move on to the other couple. She ends up with Brandon in season 5, like the royal couple. Steve thinks he's got a shot with her, and of course, season 5 starts, and Brandon and her have been together for the whole summer. So, but just, so much of what we're doing is, making the story, like Chuck said, bring them together, pull them apart, bring them together, pull them apart, move them around. I mean, but within that, making it believable, which is, when we look back at it now, we got to feel pretty good about what we did.
Maybe that's why I've had so many divorces. I just figured it out.
You had a high bar, babe. You had a high bar.
That's what it is.
It's in character, right? Yeah. You just constantly have been.
I live for the drama.
Well, listen, this was really awesome. Jenny, thank you for your time and spending some time here. Again, let me just plug this again on locationlive.com/90210. Make sure you guys all hang out with them tomorrow. It's going to be so much fun. I think you're going to have a blast seeing everybody and doing all that. And I wanted to say thank you to all of you, the writer and, of course, the actor here, Jenny, for doing all this work. Like I said, kind of jokingly, and I've said this to you guys many times, but this is life for a lot of people. I mean, the Kelly and Dylan fans, or even the Brenda and Dylan fans, or the Brandon and Kelly fans, they all have their passions, right? Charles knows a little bit about having his passions. And this is, really important to so many people. So just so thankful for all of you for doing this. I have to say this too, Jenny, I know that this is not an easy topic because we're talking about someone that we all wish was here. I wish I was doing the Kelly and Dylan show with Kelly and Dylan. That, as a super fan, that devastated me, and I can't even imagine what you all think about watching this. So thank you for your patience in going through all of this and watching some of this. I know it must not be easy, but I think we covered it and really, really nicely today. And it's such beautiful work that you did all those years ago. So
I'm just so happy that we all got to work together and work with Luke. And I just want to say thank you. And then I love each of you.
Oh, thank you so much.
All right, guys, that has been this. Thank you so much, and we will see you next time when we have your tag team partner, Donna Martin's coming on. We'll do so that should be
Tori.
All right, goodbye, guys.
See you later.